What if the chocolate you love has been hiding a superfood all along? Chocolate changed the world, but the real power is in cacao, the raw plant behind it. In this video, I'll break down what cacao actually is, the nutrients that matter, the science behind why people use it, and even 3 real people's stories. And stay until the end because I'll reveal the best cacao for me, the one I personally use every single day. Disclaimer: this video is for educational purposes only and not medical advice. What is cacao? Cacao is the tree Theobromine cacao, literally food of the gods. The seeds inside the pods are the beans, and those beans are the starting point for nibs, powder, butter, and ultimately chocolate. Cacao was domesticated by indigenous peoples in the Americas and shows up in archaeological pottery thousands of years old. The Maya and Aztec prized cacao as a sacred ceremonial beverage used in rituals, funerals, offerings, and even as currency. Here's how it's processed: harvest pods, scoop beans and pulp, ferment, dry, roast, grind into nibs, press into liquor, butter or powder, and then lastly chocolate. Fermentation and roasting create flavour, but also change the chemistry, and aggressive processing like Dutching, alkalizing, can destroy the flavanols researchers study. Now that you know where cacao comes from and how processing reshapes it, let's look into the nutrients and compounds that make cacao a contender for superfood. Benefits, nutrition, plus science. So why do people call cacao a superfood? Because when you look at the nutrient profile, it's one of the most concentrated natural sources of minerals, fibre, and bioactive compounds you can actually eat. Take just 1 ounce of raw cacao, so about 28 grams or a heaped tablespoon. That tiny serving gives you roughly 0.5 milligrams of copper, about 50 to 60% of your daily requirement. Copper is critical for collagen formation, connective tissue strength, iron metabolism, and energy production, yet it often flies under the radar. Alongside that, you're getting about 64 milligrams of magnesium, around 15 to 16% DV, which supports energy, muscles, nerves, and sleep. And most people today are low in magnesium. There's also 3.6 to 3.9 milligrams of iron, around 20% of daily needs, essential for red blood cells and oxygen transport, and roughly 200 milligram of potassium for blood pressure balance. On top of that, you get supportive amounts of zinc, manganese, and selenium, trace minerals your enzymes and immune system depend on. So it's not absolutely outstanding from a mineral perspective, but that is just a tablespoon. So as part of a full diet, it can easily push you over the edge with all your requirements. But the minerals aren't what the benefits come from, really, anyway. Cacao also delivers about 9 grams of fibre per ounce, extremely high for a small serving, plus 4 grams of protein, and healthy fats such as oleic acid, like olive oil, and stearic acid, which has a neutral effect on cholesterol. But the real magic isn't just in the minerals, it's in the phytonutrients. Cacao is one of the richest natural sources of flavanols and polyphenols. These antioxidants directly affect inflammation, blood pressure, and brain function. Then there's theobromine, a mild stimulant that gently opens blood vessels and gives steady, calm energy, much smoother than caffeine for most people. Cacao even contains trace compounds like anandamide, sometimes called the bliss molecule, that interact with brain pathways linked to pleasure and well-being. What this translates to practically: heart and blood vessels. Flavanols boost nitric oxide, equals better blood flow, reduced blood pressure, brain and mood. Increased cerebral blood flow equals sharper memory and attention. Neurotransmitter effects equals mood lift, longevity and inflammation. Antioxidants combat oxidative stress. Some studies show lower inflammatory markers. Metabolic health. Fibre and polyphenols act as prebiotics and may improve insulin sensitivity. Nutrient density. Magnesium, iron and copper support energy, red blood cell formation, and connective tissue health. The evidence is solid but nuanced. Meta-analyses and trials show flavanols improve memory and vascular function. Microbiome studies show cacao polyphenols feed beneficial bacteria, and clinical trials report reduction in perceived stress with high flavanol cacao. A few important points. Form matters. Choose non-alkalised, minimally processed cacao or high flavanol products. Many 85% bars are still alkalized. Watch for heavy metals. Choose brands that third-party test. And theobromine, while gentle, can affect sleep if taken late. Bottom line, cacao isn't just hype. It's a compact, bioactive, nutrient-dense food that can support heart, brain, mood, and metabolic health when you choose the right form and dose. But numbers and studies only tell part of the story. Next up, theories that bridge the lab and the felt experience, plus 3 real people's reports. Theories plus people's personal stories. Theories. Physiology first. Cacao's flavanols boost nitric oxide, which relaxes blood vessels and increases blood flow to the brain and body. Add theobromine, a gentle stimulant, and you get calmer, sustained energy, plus better perfusion. Matrix and synergy. The whole bean contains minerals, fibre, healthy fats and polyphenols. They interact. Whole foods often do more than isolated compounds because of those synergistic effects. Ritual and expectation. Drinking cacao in a deliberate way, a warm drink, a moment of focus, social ritual, amplifies the experience. Expectation and setting change how strong the effect feels. Microbiome route emerging. Cacao polyphenols may feed beneficial gut microbes that, in turn, influence mood and metabolism. Early research, but a promising angle. Now the real people's stories. These are personal anecdotes. Number 1. Daily energy. A Reddit user said adding raw cacao powder to their morning drink gave them steady energy all day, no crash, and helped with afternoon workouts. Number 2. Swapped coffee. On r/biohackers, someone reported ditching coffee for cacao and getting calmer, longer lasting focus that improved meditation and training sessions. Number 3. Nibs for satiety. Another poster said a tablespoon of cacao nibs on breakfast made them feel more alert and less hungry mid-morning. Again, these are personal reports, not clinical trials. They're useful because they line up with plausible mechanisms. Small stimulant plus better circulation plus nutrient support plus ritual, but individual responses vary. Science gives us mechanisms, and people's stories show how that plays out in daily life. Together, they suggest cacao can offer steady energy, subtle mood uplift, and appetite support when used in the right form and dose. Science, theory, and those user stories all point to one thing: quality cacao matters. Next, I'll show you the exact cacao I use, how I take it, and why I chose it. The best cacao for me. I use 7 Hills Whole Foods Organic Cacao Powder. Why this one? It's Soil Association Organic certified. No synthetic pesticides or fertilizers. Non-alkalised, which preserves flavanols. Cold pressed with careful fermentation. And contains nothing else. No fillers. Just pure cacao. It's nutrient dense, vegan, and comes in a 1 kilogram bag. So it's really cost effective for daily use. How I use it. Every morning I get a pint glass. I then add a teaspoon each of creatine, spirulina, chlorella, moringa, and of course, cacao. I mix the powders, add spring water, and finish by mixing it together with my milk frother. It's my version of Brian Johnson's Green Giant. I also use the power in raw energy bars and balls, stir it into porridge, and sprinkle a teaspoon of cacao nibs on my fruit every morning. For daily intake, I stick to about 10 to 30 grams in total. If you want to get the exact cacao I use, then the link is top of the description. I've also linked my favourite cacao nibs too. Before you try it, here are a couple safety and practical notes. Cacao is powerful, but a few precautions matter. Some cacao can contain heavy metals like cadmium or lead, depending on the origin, so pregnant women and children should be especially cautious. If you're on MAOIs or other medications, Check with your doctor before adding cacao. Theobromine, the stimulant in cacao, is toxic to dogs, so always keep away from pets. And remember, regular chocolate bars usually come with sugar, fats and additives. That's not the same as pure cacao. So, that's cacao. From its ancient roots as food of the gods, through the nutrients and science, the theories and real stories, all the way to the exact cacao I use every day. The big picture. Pure cacao is more than just chocolate, minus the sugar, fat and additives. It's one of the most mineral-dense foods you can eat, with compounds that may support your energy, mood, focus, and even long-term health, especially when you make it part of a daily ritual. If you want to try the same cacao I use, then again, the link is top of the description. If you learnt something new, please like and subscribe to keep learning. If you know anyone that's interested in this kind of content, please share it to them, as it really helps me out. If you're trying to improve your health, you will like one of the videos in the playlist on screen. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one. And remember, stay positive even when it seems everything is against you.